So moved.
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Mine's gonna be longer, I can say, let Jim go first.
Mr. Lampy.
Well, a few things here. Helen, who is my employee, her husband died on Saturday, and my staff would like to go to the funeral. It's Thursday at 11 o'clock. So we normally what we do is put something starting now, we'll be closed for that period of time.
Yeah, it's like, if we have a necessary problem with that at all, maybe we can get posted up on the website too.
Couple other things. On the tax bill, I guess you're going to have a solid waste tax bill. On our tax statements when they go out, they say for assessment value questions, I do appraisal value, it's not assessment value, but it says call the appraiser's office, and the appraiser's phone number happens to be on that tax bill. I'd like to have you remove that as quickly as possible, but if you don't, who's going to answer the solid waste questions that might come up, because that's probably going to hit my office too. So.
Chase? Yeah, we discussed that though, like, about the last week, 2 weeks ago, about having notification on who to contact with that. I thought does that go out on the property tax statement?
No, the only thing that went out on that was, I don't know what, the only thing I put on there was that the first half is due December 20th, the second half is due May 20th. Contact me, treasurer's office, but I didn't have anything on it for appraisal.
Our phone number's been on the tax bill. Well, that's good. Then I'll update on the matching situation. Roger had a meeting with a couple of gentlemen who do this for Leavenworth at the GIS department, and they thought they could help us out by doing it on an hourly rate, and I'm hoping anticipating possibly be about $5,000 to finish the rest of the ag drawings for the ag funds and that kind of thing. Which falls within guidelines. What we would end up doing is taking Roger's current PC that has the information in it and let them use that PC. He's already had it together on one of our machines, and then move Roger's Tony whole machine over to Roger's. He's got some other software things that we need to keep in house, and kind of work it that way. And then Roger's learning real quick now to do all the maintenance and splits combinations.
So they have the ability to save like a server? I mean, so
we have a backup. Kick drive, we also back up, so they'll be backing that information up at all times too. No, if we cover ourselves on that,
okay.
That can't just leave it alone. But that's where we look, and they could probably start fairly soon. It's one of those things on a per hour basis. We could, if they're a bit faster than normal, or Roger has time to do some of it too. Hopefully we can keep it on us. I don't know, but it's kind of and Roger knows them real well, so the relationship and the information of what each one knows is coming together real well. So that's a very important thing. So.
Okay. He's up to somewhat speed. He's at conferences last week or 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, he picked up a lot of knowledge and likes people to get a hold of. He's learning that counties do things a little differently, even within their own GIS department. But those people thought that what we were doing is pretty comparable with how they do it. So there's no major learning curve, you might say. So we can get up and run pretty quick. And that was kind of the goal to do it that way. That would also keep it within driving distance of picking up the information if we need to. I'd be have no problem with the start, try it and see how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually all I have. Try to keep it short and sweet. just
should be
looking.
okay, so.
Okay. Anything else for me? Okay.
So,
Yes?
you feel all right, do you get calls about solid waste to, transfer to Chasen?
Well, we have a desk downstairs and a telephone, and when I'm sitting in my office, I have to answer all my phone calls. I will.
Shared duty.
Yeah. I mean, we just need to know, if you have them someplace for the phone, we just don't need to know what phone number, and,
Where you refer them to.
yeah, that's all we need to know.
Jason, maybe you refer those to.
So don't get scarce.
You won't.
Jim, what time are your office be closed?
Well, the funeral's at 11, so we're not, because it won't take too long to get there, but at least it's probably quarter till, and I don't know how long it's gonna last. And then we got lunch hours too to worry about, so.
It's like 10 to 1. I just wanna know what's on the website. 10 to 1, 10:30 to 1.
Make it 10:30 to 1, we'll try to make it open sooner than that. Okay, thank you.
I'll do it.
Is yours? Well, I think mine is fairly short, but you never know where it's gonna lead.
Okay. I just want.
I heard you off the bridge.
Really? Man, I thought I was gonna get to break the news today. Cherokee south of 310.
Is that one that just inspected?
It's an uninspected bridge. It doesn't have a weight limit posted on it.
That wood shimmers in
Yep. Just a smaller bridge. He actually made it across. It did, I think, break a walking beam in the truck, but,
So somebody drove across and broke it.
yeah, and then they called the sheriff's department and reported it.
Insurance claim.
From them to us. I'm not sure how that's gonna work. Before that's happened, and nothing has ever come back on us before. I'm not sure how we're all set up on that.
Do we have a weight limit?
No weight limit on that bridge. It's just a small structure that's uninspected, and, no weight limit sign on it. They broke it.
Yeah, but that was loose along and tricky.
It was a straight truck,
Oh, shit.
I don't know how many, can't really, it was a Kinnison.
I know K-Camp doesn't have coverage on liability on bridges.
I'm hoping to put I've actually got a PO here for a culvert, put that in.
Well, what was the vehicle that was driven across there? We have that statute, I think, that gives maximum weights. Single axle, tandem axle. What was the weight of the vehicle, any idea?
Nobody knows, the truck's it's gone, it's been dumped, I'm sure.
What was it, were they all?
It was,
Were they all,
they were hauling beans, that's what they were hauling.
so I'm presuming there's a scale.
Yeah, there'd be a way. This would be a gross weight.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if they put the beans in one of their bins or they took it to if it went to an elevator, you would have, somebody would have track of the weight, but they put it in a bin. There would be no way of saying how many bushel they had on the truck.
So, is that like a semi?
It's a tandem axle truck.
axles with centers less than 40 inches apart are counted as one axle. The tandem axle is 34,000 pounds. That's
That's a statement. Like I said, I saw the trucker after it happened, well, not after it happened, I seen it the next day. Like I said, well, yeah, it was loaded. Yeah, the tarp on it, I don't know how much grain it had on it.
Well, is there a report? I mean, you said they.
Yeah, they-
wrote up a report.
Yeah, I think,
On the sheriff.
Pete, yeah, there's a deputy report on it.
Should probably verify with that, I'm curious if there was weight determined or.
I doubt there was.
If they had a scale or something,
Yeah.
they would handle it good. Well, get him from, get fucking up. I think all we got is.
DOT.
DOT people. Do they standard locks on it, or they have sidewalls on it?
It was just, yeah, it was just standard. I haven't seen extended sliders or anything like that.
Pat, do you wanna check into?
Will that pretty dry after the Tuesday?
Yeah, on the ground.
So is it just an unnamed stream?
Yeah, yeah, that wouldn't be big enough to be a string. It's a 310. It's on, Cherokee, about 8 miles south of 310 road, Brookside.
So it must be pretty low use.
Yeah.
I don't think the creek's had water.
Yeah, there's a pond, it actually drains, 770 acres, I believe, is what I figured. And that, figures to be right at 8-foot culvert. I got a quote on it. Replacing with a culvert.
I assume it's a great.
Yeah, yes, it's a township road.
What township?
Grasshopper.
Was it south of 310?
Yes.
Gee, that's close enough to me, I should have heard that.
You didn't, I'm surprised you hadn't heard about it.
I didn't know it was close enough.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, actually, my father-in-law owns 32 right there, and it's right next to his property.
Right, I was saying, yeah, he has, there in the corner, that is their corner.
Yep. Right off of 310, I'm sure.
Right on 310, yeah, as I said.
These guys are both at the sales Saturday, that's what I mean.
We should have been out there reinforcing the bridge. Did they ever change it?
We did. No,
Right on the report.
yeah, I know Jeremy Pete did the police report. Actually, I didn't hear about it till next day. So, they tried calling me, for some reason my phone went straight to voicemail, and they called my second in charge, and he went and took care of it. It was after hours.
You said 750 acres drained, so we obviously got to get something in its place. Is that right?
Yeah, we're gonna have to, do something, like I said, it figures, should be able to put an 8-foot culvert in there, and it would handle the, 770 acre drain. I got a quote, cheapest quote was, $5,000 permit?
We want to.
Okay.
We're required to.
All right.
We have to.
Well, there's a lot.
Now, if we're not gonna change, are we putting in just a box, or,
No, we'll put them around corner.
yeah, so we would definitely have to do that engineer study.
There's a lot of counties around that don't do that. We always have.
And those counties probably don't ask their county council whether they should.
Alright, I'll, proceed with, getting a permit.
Can we put a low water crossing in?
No, wouldn't be feasible on that road.
Doesn't look like it.
Actually, it'd be, a culvert would be cheaper to put a low water crossing in there. It would cost more to put a low water crossing in there than it would for this culvert.
Looks like it wouldn't be that much out of the way if you send traffic over, if you would just reroute the traffic.
Yeah, there's a way to get around this, no problem.
There are people that live on that road? Or you know?
One, is there one up there on that road?
It lists here that Ruth lives on that one.
Oh, yeah, Hoopler, I believe, lives just right north of there.
Well, there was a
Or right south, I'm sorry.
south, well, oh, I see, yeah, that bridge is, okay, I see where the stream is, yeah.
Yeah, it's just right off street somewhere.
It looks to me like that just carries the water that overflows from the pond, it's.
Yeah, there's a pond right, there's a pond right above it.
Right.
It carries a little over 100 acres that doesn't run through the pond. And, if you add it all together, it's like 770. But, most of it runs through the pond, and there's some that comes around it.
It'd take a while to fill the pond back up to where it overflows to drain down. Yeah, I can't see it. It'd be that much. How many acres you say it drains?
770 is what the SCS office said. I had David Jacobson figure it for me.
They must be figuring some of that coming in from the north. Curiosity, I think we should talk to them.
Yeah. The only other thing I had was, we have 2 dump trucks out at the county shop, a 1990, LT 8000 Ford, and we've got a 1985 LT 9000 Ford that, we haven't used in over a year now, because they're not mechanically sound. I'd like to put them on Purple Wave, get rid of them.
Will they run?
They'll run enough to get out the gate maybe.
Yeah.
And then we've also got one more item, it's a 1980, Ludwig tilt trailer that we haven't used in years also. It's out, sitting out at the transfer station out at Effingham. We've been just sitting our, pile driver on, but we can find something else to set it on, and it's really nice and some time around.
County commissioner or something.
Yeah, I'm not using it.
Yep. Good little cage.
Don't use them, they'll wear it on when you use them.
Yeah, well, if they sit around much longer, the trucks are running right now, but if they sit around, something will happen to them,
And what was the other thing?
so. 2 dump trucks and then a tilt trailer,
It comes
just a
from-
flatbed trailer.
Well, you might not do the court, because I think it comes through the court.
I get the state surplus we bought from the state years ago.
Okay, yeah, we need a substitute, because we could get the whole fight.
That's all I got.
Let's do it in the plan.
Source calls. So that quick, or no, that's
Four
like.
little, $1,000, that was in the line. We need to take them back.
Yeah.
So work with
Is that a good plan?
It is a good plan. They,
Okay, so-
I think director was at my office
I'll
today,
have to get with them tomorrow.
Friday,
Okay.
and, I'm sure it'll get approved.
Just saying anymore.
Mhm.
It's 151.
No, they're all three.
The ambulance station come along
It
into it.
is, I heard, it's Friday we got there, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
No, but,
Was it Wednesday?
Wednesday after.
It was Wednesday, yeah. So it was Homeland Security conference. Yes, they finished painting the outside of it, their sanding is completed, they'll start painting inside tomorrow. And then trim and put the coating on the floor, and it'll be done. They're moving right along.
That's good.
That's scheduled, they said by November first, they're gonna be really close, they won't hit November first, but they'll be really close. So, that looks very good. It looks very good, so.
No, yeah, I mean, you know, once they paint it on, the driveway and stuff, pretty well, showers and all, blades.
Yeah, I told them we're gonna paint the other building now, our main building looks horrible. because we're
Well,
painting-
I wondered about that when I seen that, whether we may have to do that, but.
Yeah, the other building is really bad, because they painted the rest of the building, so it's pretty white now, and then we flash roof and engine building. It's not necessarily white, so. Looks very dull. Joe and Mary, Joe and Mary Russell's oldest son, I can't remember his name.
Steve,
That sounds right.
that's who I thought it
His
was.
dad is the one that's.
Right, yeah, I knew that also.
They did good work on it. There you go. All right, so that was the short part.
So that was a what percent?
2012 annual Marshall Suite Management Plan. It's through every year. Okay, the next part is the phone system that has been about a year in process. We finally met with the city, the county, and the hospital. We went through numbers. The representatives of each agency had. We're very happy with what we've set out to do. So now it's my turn to bring it to you guys. The city is taking it to their board, and John Jefferson is taking it to their board. We'd all like to proceed. This is for a joint phone system that will be between the county, the city, and the hospital.
Why don't you explain a little bit
We're
what
gonna
a
explain
VoIP?
all of this. Like a VoIP, the new digital system, instead of using analog lines anymore, which are getting very costly, AT&T, Sprint, all of them are actually moving away from analog lines. So they're charging more, so people will switch over to a VoIP system because the copper is too expensive to maintain anymore. You switch over to a VoIP system, and it's just like when we changed cell phones, when we changed from an analog to a digital. It makes it so where you can do far more communication with one wire instead of just one phone conversation. So switching over to VoIP is a much cheaper option than analog line. It is just as secure. With this phone system, we'll have 3 backups, whereas if someone cuts the wire going to the courthouse now, we have 1, and that's it. With the new VoIP system, we'll have 3 backups, 1 to the county, 1 to the hospital, and 1 to the city. So we should never lose phones. Because we'll have 3 different connection methods. If you look down here, we went down and broke out all of our monthly expenses with our phone bill. With buying this new system and doing a 0% interest loan through Cisco for the
right now, we pay an average expense of $2,980.30.
Our phone bill, yes,
And this would going to the new system, drops it down to $2,821.
correct. That's including buying the new phone system.
So
The
the
current phone system we got put in 1992, is that right, Pauline? I believe it was 1992, so we're 20 years old, that's longer than any electronic device should ever last. So, we want to be progressive, which is why y'all asked me to do this when I started, and find one before our phone system quit instead of after our phone system quit.
Can I ask a question? What's this IPCE
Where are you at?
from here?
Oh, the Accelerate?
Yeah.
Do you know how we currently have to page through our phone system for the fire drills and tornado drills? It is the same thing. Since we cannot put we can put a fire alarm in the courthouse for $250,000.
Is it like a paging system?
Yes, it's a paging system. That's the best way to say it. It's to where we can still keep our current fire drill and tornado drill in the courthouse.
And the hospital upgrade, is that something?
The hospital, that's where they're having to fork out $12,000 to make all of this work. The hospital currently has this phone system already, and instead of us buying another phone system and spending what they did, we're all going to share it. They're going to spend $12,000 to upgrade their equipment to where we can use it.
We're paying.
We're paying our stuff over here. And
It's broke out based upon per
user.
entity, I see there.
But the hospitals have to spend $12,000.
But this is our share.
Our share is the one below county, yes. Hospitals go and spend their money to make it so we can all work together. And in the future, when we do upgrades, instead of the hospital doing upgrades, and the city doing upgrades, and the county doing upgrades, we'll all share that expense, which will make it much cheaper for us and give us a bigger buying power in the future, when we want to upgrade. So effectively making what we do cheaper. Better. And this is not the final price, and this is not you making the decision. This is you looking at the numbers and saying, okay, we'd like you to develop a contract. But we have to do that within 30 days, because that's what the pricing is good for.
Are they the ones that you break out this, like,
We went through it in our meetings together, with myself, the city, and the county, and the hospital.
If we go to the system, we lose, having all the numbers in the phone book.
No. You port those over. Every phone number we currently have, you'll port over.
No, that's what I meant. So next year, when the new phone book comes out, the numbers be in the phone book.
Yes. Because we'll still have phone lines, and all of our service will still be through AT&T. We're just switching to a VoIP system.
Oh, it will be
AT&T.
through AT&T.
Yes, instead of, we're switching to a VoIP system through AT&T instead of analog lines. And our current phone system wouldn't fit on your desk, and the new one will be this big. In fact, I have pictures of it if you want to see.
Where's the current one?
See what?
Where's the current one?
The current one is hanging up on the wall in the computer room.
You can't miss it.
You can't move it, it's real big.
On the north wall.
okay.
And the new one will fit in the server rack with the rest of the servers, which is a little more protected. Well, bigger slot for it. That's what the phones themselves will look like, white or black. You don't want that? And I can show you the
I'm
pictures.
not getting numbers, huh?
And I can show you the pictures of these, but you're not gonna get much out of that, right? That's what the actual phone box will look like. Yeah, okay. Also with the new system, you can actually tie it to your computer to where you can go on your phone from your computer, you go to see, like Colleen wants to talk to me in my office out in Effingham, she'd be able
like I said, any other long distance calls not associated with the city or the,
And how that works, any other long distance calls not associated with what we currently make out to my office and different
you know,
ones.
that would be a cost.
Those are, but with VoIP, they are far cheaper for long distance than it is with an analog line. You go from instead of 10 or 13 cents a minute down to 1 or 2 cents a minute. I can't tell you that.
Yeah, that's about right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't tell you the exact. It's either 10 or 13 right now. I haven't looked at the phone bill lately. And it'll drop down to 1 or 2 cents a minute instead. And that's whether you call California or anywhere. There's no answer right now.
Forever and ever.
Hmm?
Is that forever and ever and ever?
Yeah, we'll get to where there's no long distance at all. Like cell phones, you don't have long distance on cell phones anymore.
It's just a minute,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of the flow.
Yep.
So this actually come out next year, I mean,
There will actually not be coming anything out of budget because we'll actually be spending less money on the phone system and our phone bill than what we're currently spending. So they'll,
also, it's already, what you're saying is this is something that's already.
we're gonna save money because we're going to spend less
See
money
about
than
that,
what we
we can
currently are.
So are you gonna figure out how much each department spends?
No, I'm gonna leave that to the stuff.
It's not.
If needs be, we can figure it out. It's real simple, the phone lines you currently have, you add that up, and the long distance you currently have, which is done by code, right? But
Yeah,
technically,
sometimes we have less, sometimes we have more. I'm just curious, I mean.
we'll figure out which each department will pay, instead of paying for the AT&T bill, that'll be over to the cell phone system.
Mm-hmm.
But where do these costs that you've got?
Oh, I know,
Where does that?
Which one?
Well, they're on the first page, you know, the city cost is $88,000, the county is $143,000. You know, where, is that initial capital outlay we have?
No, that is on $143,000. It's put on a 5-year loan through Cisco at 0% interest, which is end up being $2,390 a month that we will pay them.
Okay, I think I begin to see what you're saying is where it's already figured in the budget, each department has so much allotted.
Yeah.
And then by going with the 0% 5-year, that gets it down to where it's our payments are actually gonna be cheaper
Than what we currently pay
than what
just
our
for our
current
phone bill.
payment is. So that's gonna be, that's purchasing the equipment and the
Right.
service.
Service, installation, and training,
Okay.
everything. And typically Cisco would only finance just the equipment, but they're so excited about us doing county, city, hospital, joints efforts that they're financing everything. And it all has Accelerate, SmartNet, which is a 5-year guarantee. If I pull your phone off your desk and stomp on it, we send it in and it sends a new one. Not that I would ever do that, but if I wanted to, they would.
You might want to more times than you think.
Every month.
That's why it says note all appropriate prices contain 5 years of SmartNet.
And you included upgrading current speeds.
Correct, we will, in this venture, we will also be upgrading our speed. We currently have 3 meg of DSL, that's our internet speed, which is not enough for what we're using. I talked to AT&T, and for the same price we're currently paying, we can switch to UVerse, which is 30 meg. So, going from 3 to 30 for the same price, 10 times faster.
Which you'll need.
Well, you won't need all of that.
3 meg wouldn't carry this system.
3 meg would not carry this at all. 30 meg is more than what we need. But with the treasurer doing everything on my network, she used to not be on the internet, she used to everything was done in-house. Now online, that office is slow on internet, and as more offices use more different applications on the internet, our speed is going down because more people are accessing them, so we have to upgrade for the same price what we're already paying, so we're just getting more for the same amount of money.
And this, you know, capable, I mean, there is upgrades, I mean.
At 5 years, during the 5 years, we will get all of our upgrades for that SmartNet. Any software upgrades, any hardware, RAM, any problems, Cisco will put that bill to the upgrade. After the 5 years, we will wanna do another upgrade before we lock into another 5 years of SmartNet, which I'm guessing will be, we were talking about this in the meeting at the hospital, it'll probably be about $10,000 at the end of that 5 years, but you're dividing that by 3 out to my office, set up a full system in my office. We called out to California and then back to my cell phone in my office. And you could not tell there was no delay, there was no stuttering. It sounded like me and you talking right here. So excellent. And there's lots of training. Because it's new.
So if the internet goes down, then what?
If the internet goes down, we have 3 backups.
Okay. Use that part.
So if all of our backups go down, it's probably not anybody getting answer the phone. So.
It's definitely a unique venture.
They were very excited. Cisco, when they told us about this, was very excited. The city, county, hospital were looking at going in together as one. They're all about working together and filling a system.
It'll be a topic at KAC, conference this year.
It'll actually be you'll be in several magazines for doing this.
Nursing home is really good too.
And nursing home is awesome too.
I'm fine with it.
And do.
Okay, well, I will call them and have them proceed with contract, and then I'll bring it back to you guys to review and approve.
See if they like us any better than we do the contract.
I just will love it.
Good work.
Thank you. It's been a year in the process, a little over a year, so.
Sometimes good things
Mhm.
take a while. Good one takes a while for it to come.
Yeah. And if you have any questions about how the current, the closest system that we're gonna have, you can call anyone at the hospital. They've been using it since the new hospital was put in place. And in that amount of time, they've had the phones not work twice, and it was for 20 minutes. So they have 2 backup servers. Besides all the backups that we will have, so 2 years and 20 minutes. One time was because the AT&T cut through a fiber line right at the hospital, and the other time was they were doing a backup, and the backup took longer than what they thought it would. Netflix, not backup. So they were happy with the system.
It sounds promising.
And that's all I hope. The rescue building, I already talked about all that, so the painting, this week and next. Before we done next week, the outside is painted, all the walls are done and sanded. We're almost back into it. But they won't make November 1st like they estimated, but
Are they putting in some makeshift, cheap toilets or something, was that included?
the
like
whole
that?
kitchen will be done. The kitchen,
Kitchen.
bed, all those cabinets
Well, like,
will be done.
sink stuff, we don't have, there's no appliances.
No, the appliances we'll have to do ourselves.
Right.
The washer, dryer, stove, refrigerator, microwave. We'll have to do ourselves. I was going to look locally, at all our stores here and try and get some good prices for that.
There's only one.
Sears would be an excellent for the appliances. They'll price match anybody, so that'll be your cheapest bet.
Well, we need to get 3 bids, there is, I know it's out of county, but there is a good little guy, and I talked to Evan Courtney, that he does service for it. And that's, his name is Shields, I can't think of his name, but he's there on Main Street. Just to get bids.
What if they can't bid the same? I mean, is you're gonna get your appliances from somewhere, you're gonna get your bed and desk and couch from somewhere else. So what exactly do you want bids on? Do you want bids on all of that?
Well, you can separate some of that stuff. I mean, if somebody can't bid the beds, but they want to bid the appliances, I'm not at all opposed to separating, because you limit yourself, everybody can, like, you know, those stoves with the microwave above that,
The stove, you're gonna spend about $500, and the microwave, you're gonna spend about $300. The refrigerator will be $600, and the washer and dryer will be $800 together, or maybe.
well, it depends on, yeah, that, you don't wanna get too cheap with the
No, you don't get too cheap, I mean, they only have front loader, I mean, the washer and dryer in my house costs $4,000, they don't do
Well,
that.
all I'm saying is on the stove, is there a lot, you know, I've seen these stoves with, you know, have a conventional stove, and then they got the microwave
Mhm.
above them, are they higher?
They are higher, if it was me, I would not put a glass top in there, because they're not gonna take care of it, you wanna put the,
Well, that's the phone.
you wanna put the round burner in there, that if they bend it up or don't think it burns them fine, you pull that burner out, throw it away, and buy a new $15 burner for it. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, yeah, I agree with that, yes.
I mean, cause the glass smooth top stoves you buy now, if you don't condition those and treat those right, then you can buy a new stove real quick.
Do we need to, consider, is this gonna be something that they have to furnish, like, you know, have a TV there?
I asked them that, and they said that was all in our county.
Right.
line.
I know that, but what I'm
Okay.
saying is do we need to include that as a bit? Because, you know, there'll be a lot of downtime out there, so. Do we have to include a TV, a television set there for them when they're sitting there, what, you know, on waiting for calls? Would you include that?
I was including that price.
Okay.
Well, I haven't put in blocking for 37-inch or 40-inch LCD mount on the wall. Which will cost you, if you look, $500 to $600.
I didn't do that one.
Yeah. An LCD lasts 100,000 hours, so if they don't show something to us, they
So
last.
we'll just basically will need 2 beds,
2 beds, a couch, a desk,
maybe an easy chair.
and dresser. Maybe in the chair. Dressers in each room, because what they'll do is they'll keep their bedding. Not everybody will use the same bed, so you put a dresser in there, and each person has their own area that they keep their bedding in.
Ain't having that Saturday, did they, Mary, and that kind of stuff.
They're not providing their bedding.
No, what I mean
All
is,
the furniture.
we was at a sale, and I think Mary had a sale, Keith sale down there, out in Fast, and they had about everything but that.
Really. I mean, it doesn't need to, I mean, you buy an okay quality dresser for each room, a twin size bed for each room.
Do you actually buy a bed, or do they just get box springs and a mattress? I mean, I've seen,
And a frame.
I'm trying to think, did Miami County, did they just have, I didn't think they had headboards or anything.
No, you buy a metal frame.
Frame.
Box frame.
I just seen that they just had, you know, the box springs and a mattress and not even a frame to set them.
So the mattresses will sit on the floor.
No, the box springs. It's like, the mattress would be on top of it.
They didn't have a little metal frame that was.
Metal frame?
I didn't think I
underneath
remember.
I don't know either, that much.
No, those aren't
They're
that much.
$80.
You know, you can get it for 40, you can get it for 40 down
Or
at,
$40.
Nebraska. Right now.
I would most definitely put them on a frame to get them up off the floor.
Mice can't hide underneath, mice can hide underneath if you put them in on the floor, they can't hide.
But then they have to hide under the covers.
Yeah. I would lift it up off the floor. Myself.
That's fine, for 40 bucks, yeah.
Okay,
And as far as those utilities go, under the contract, the cable or whatever is not one of the utilities that we provide. We may provide the TV itself, but
correct.
the monthly
They're planning on doing
expense
this,
for whatever is not gonna be our expense.
Effingham, Carson Communications currently provides the cable to Effingham. They can discontinue that as of December 31st. So there is no cable provider in Effingham come December 31st. I spoke with Brent J about it, and they're just gonna go to satellite option. And they, even if the county was supposed to be responsible for that, they said they would take care of it. Which apparently the county's not responsible for. Wireless internet and cable. So
they just open that up because they keep,
That's what I was about a year ago, but there wasn't towers around here. They worked very well, but.
telling, well, we're on CenturyLink for phone, and it's a.
Correct, you won't get DSL there, but AT&T, my house, their cell phone, you can hear out anywhere, and it will show the signal from,
He wants to know what you thought.
cell phone towers, and then it'll reroute it to 5 laptops.
Is this what she was wanting to know about? This?
No,
It's
they're
three
supposed to
words.
be a new AT&T tower in there, Palmer.
What do we need to do?
No, like, it's.
Well, I've been holding out, I want to get
That's the
something
three
through
words.
the,
Yeah,
know,
that's
get it
the
all
last
bundled up.
thing, so I think we only need like one.
You haven't bought down there, right, essentially.
mm-hmm.
Once you make an AT&T, you don't have to bundle together, so that'd be your fastest option.
Is this what they,
So you can pay $9 cell phone to your wife.
I think I remember
Yeah.
telling you that this is,
I don't know that much about it.
they can get pulled back.
And
Down
that's,
there.
One is flat on the bridge.
From the bridge.
Wherever you're at, and then
I do have a
First I
laptop.
thought it was a rail where you tie your horses. I mean, 'cause you can't see how wide it is.
Well, we can sign them through, so that's what we need. We can get it from.
We could either like right before, a week or two before the, no, they open up. No, it was at our lake, I don't know.
That's what, yeah, that's
No,
what.
that's right, Dennis, and before they took the bridge, old bridge plank, made it into town. Dumpster,
Yeah.
that's hard to do. In my bench. I thought everybody was pivot. Well, yes, those are the two different benches.
Call them, I'll try to get the list. On the restaurant tomorrow. You guys have a good day.
Thanks, Wes.
Thank you, Wes.
Well, you've already answered one question, that, there's four questions that's going to be, answered for the pending appeals process for the solid waste fee. So I just drafted up, a basic form. The first page has all the contact information, and then, required supporting documentation, one for residential, one for non-residential, and it lists out, criteria that have to be met, documents that have to be provided. And I also put in, other requirements at the bottom in case, these ones, if we think of something that, I've already talked, one for the residential, 'cause we have the vacancy, vacancies, somebody will challenge on basis of vacancy, or it's no improvement on the land, and it's still got assessed, and that would be another one. But in order to do any of these, we still have to set a starting and end date, starting, or if you prove your vacancy, starting this date to this date, and, because we still haven't set a timeline as to when you need to prove residency, when you need to prove vacancy, things of that sort. non-residential alike.
You mean by businesses?
Mm-hmm. Cause they have certain.
What are their dates?
Hmm?
Are their dates any different on, per,
No, well, cause they have, we're in our first year, they have an established, one, Brown, Marion, and, one other county, use their forms in addition to other, forms around the country that use solid waste. They have theirs coincide with calendar dates, and then the appeals is, sometime near the next, before the property taxes go out, so they have December 31st of next year, then they can, they start anyway, so, and then you wait till the next taxing statements go out, that'll be October 2014. August 2014 would be the appeals, that's when you send in the appeals, and, that's when the documentation needs to be, and then you set your appeal date for, August.
so you wouldn't do it prior to start of, you wouldn't do it prior to start of the year, so we send out property tax statements in
Oh.
October, so would it be August of 2013?
Well, because you can prove, if you didn't have the documentation through the December,
So that'd be in 2014.
that would be to rebate, or to appeal the 2013 tax statement.
That's true.
Because there's no 2012, and they need that year to provide and compile all the documentation, so we'll start with documentation starting or going through 2013 calendar year. August 2014 would be, we do a range, so August 2014 to mid-October, so they can get in, or July to mid-October, so that they have.
So that's when they can officially appeal in 2013, is what you're saying. That's that's non-residential, that's business?
That's for both. Although there is one caveat to the non-residential in that, because their appeals is based on, either they have invoices or they have billings that prove that they don't have that volume.
But, you know, when we was discussing the residential fee, we did recognize, the fact that that had to go a whole year, so I would think if they could come in, say, even January of 14, and prove that there was no occupancy during the whole time of 2013, wouldn't they qualify? They wouldn't have to wait till August?
I suppose it could. If it is something that it's clearly been making for multiple years, but they have to.
You know, I think basically what we were going to require was to prove 12 months of, you know, some kind of statements from the utility company that there was no usage of utilities or service, you know, so that if they prove that, then that would make that exempt.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is, I'm wondering, you know, I don't think there's gonna be that many, but to be fair with those people, I mean, you're gonna be hanging on to that money 8 months longer.
Right. So.
I understand you have the documentation for your, particularly your businesses and non-residential, and, you know, they got to accumulate data to support their appeal, and that can take that long, so.
So would we want to set it, we're open, you can start the formal appeal process January 2014, if you have that calendar year's worth of information?
I guess my personal opinion is I would just soon see start as soon as possible, because if it would have an effect on, as we prepare, I mean, if you wait till August and we're preparing a budget, and we had more appeals per se,
Right.
you may have to adjust, you know, your fee and funding sources per se to help, you know, offset that. And I think that, I think we're just stretching our time. I'm not looking forward to appeal, but I'm just saying is I think we're probably stretching that just a little further than we probably should, to be fair to our patrons and stuff, so.
Okay.
So.
Well, looking to get it in before a certain time.
Yeah, there should be,
Yeah.
yeah, I'd really see it all in by the 1st of July, or something, have
was 7 months, it's almost too long.
If it's too long, it's fine with me, I mean, that's,
I would suggest,
Like May or something like that?
I would suggest having it quicker, well,
Yeah,
I mean, maybe even the end of February or something like that.
No,
so 60 days.
60 days after the year.
that's fine.
And then, there's, that they have to have the appeal in or it won't be counted. And then after that, the appeal process itself may take from then until July or as you say, from then until beginning of the next calendar year to determine that it's truly vacant for a whole year. But, I think you wanna give a relatively short deadline for people to.
Yeah, I have no problem with that, but that's, I sure wanna get the process started,
Earlier.
you know, earlier, so if it has an effect as we do would be doing the budget. Yeah, 60 days would be, I think that would be. Now, do we need to make it clear that all this stuff has to accompany I mean, you know, I mean, sometimes, you know, you send in a form just to meet the deadline, but you don't have the supporting documentation.
I guess if, word of reward, required supporting documentation must come with the form, it must be submitted with the form, in addition to, and I put up at the top, either you're an owner or an authorized agent, you have to have that documentation, and a copy of your tax bill, so it all has to go together in one, form, so.
You're gonna require POAs?
Well, I think you want something showing authority.
Sure.
I think that would be most of the businesses.
Power of attorney.
Oh.
Because the, keyword is authorized agent, so you could have a corporation LLC with multiple people under it, but not everybody's necessarily an authorized representative or agent.
Okay.
You see quite a bit now. It's something that's fairly common business.
Days from January 1st. And would we need to put in the form, how the appeals process is going to be determined? Is it just they submit the form, they get their day to appeal it in front of the commissioners? What length do we need to explain the appeals process other than getting the form in?
I don't think we need to. And, you know, hopefully there'll be some informal review before. Somebody might come out and say, you know, you billed me $8 million. You know, you might know it's clearly a mistake and we wouldn't have enough need for a hearing.
Right.
Or explaining it to them and there may not be enough need for a hearing, that way too.
Well, there'll definitely be a need for that when this round of tax statements come in, because it's the first year. People will want explains what that additional line on the tax statement is. But that's not very, other than dealing with people that aren't necessarily happy with it, it's not hard to explain that. And if they do just require an explanation, then we're good to go.
So do we want to set like a March 1st date or something like that for closing date for appeal?
Yeah, just end of February, whatever that date is in 2014.
So that's the submission of the form, and then are you talking about?
No, the appeal has to be made during that time.
So you have to get the form in 60 days after January 1st, 2014, and then you'll be given a date to formally appeal it.
No, I'm sorry, no, I was thinking March 1, 2013.
Yes, that's right.
That's what I'm thinking, but you're looking at a year, right?
You couldn't.
You can't.
You can't. You have to prove vacancy for 12 months.
Right, but we might have people that are you're still gonna be out on projections. On residential property, that's really the only appeal. There would not be, gosh, I just live here by myself on weekends and I don't generate all this trash. You've already decided that one.
Well, yeah, I think the residential is pretty much decided that it's just, it's a vacancy, it don't matter whether there's 50 people that live in the house or one, it's a per resident fee.
Okay, so if they can provide 12 months, not necessarily within that one calendar year, but 12 months of documentation, if it's non-residential and they want to.
I don't know, I think we gotta tread that pretty caution, because we haven't collected hardly that, so I mean, we, you know what I'm saying is if you open it, if we back it up.
If we go back to the study, if we go back to that study by Heineke, I don't believe there's anything recommended in the first 12 months as far as appeal. That'd be kind of like establishing like your baseline. I think even Harvey County even suggested when they implemented theirs, they didn't do anything in the first 12 months. It'd be awfully difficult for anybody.
Well, if there's a vacant house there and it's been vacant for all of year 2012, and they have stuff paying in 2013, for 2013, so they're going to be behind a year on getting their rebate.
Oh, a rebate on, you mean?
On the tax.
On the tax, yeah, you're right, I mean, if they can prove that all.
That's true.
But this only applies to 2000, but this, I think what.
He was talking about non-residential. I think you were talking about non-residential.
I know what you're saying, Tom, but what we're saying is this fee is like a prepayment for 2013. And just because they proved it wasn't occupied in 2012, that fee doesn't apply to 2012. It only applies to 2013.
Right.
So they've got to go the whole 2013, they got to go 12 months to prove there's no residency, and then they would, that house hasn't been occupied, and then they, which would take you in right after the first of the next year.
So it is, if you're assessed the fee, then you can get that money back after that calendar year that fee applies to.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, they're through that number, that fee rebated back.
So are you keeping money back as solid waste fee money to pay for this, or is it, are you?
We figured that.
You got 10%.
10%. So it's the $61 generates X amount of money, and then 10% is allocated towards rebating back in case we get vacancies and things of that sort. So that if we don't get the 10%, then that money just stays where it is. But we built in with the $61 that we'll still be able to cover all.
You have 10%. It was delinquency plus rebate.
Right.
So it's not commercial or businesses that
Well,
there's an error, or not error, but they're saying that.
That's 10% is, that's across the board, it's residential and non-residential.
Now to get back to the residential, or the non-residential,
the resolution addresses it, it's December 18th of each year, is what's in the resolution. So that means savings go out in December, or in November, or due in December 18th, that's the deadline for payment. That's what's stated in the resolution.
yeah. So that would have to be for 2013, December.
No, it couldn't be, because then.
No, December of 2012. They need to appeal at the time of tax, when essentially at the same time the tax is due.
How would you be able to appeal it though, because it's based off the 2013 occupancy?
They have to give notice of their appeal. If they don't give notice of appeal, then they can't.
Well, what we could do is we have that notification of appeal. That wouldn't make any sense though. Why
say that, and as part of the appeal process, you can say, we're gonna wait and see. We're gonna wait and see, and we're gonna wait till after December of next year.
Okay.
And if you prove to us that it's been vacant this whole time, then we'll refund it. You can sure do that. I think you're going to have to handle these based on what the projection is of the waste that a business is going to generate, that's likely to generate. And, we've done those calculations based on dumpster size and frequency of dumping. And, that's essentially what Chase has challenged them to do here, is to come up with evidence that the weights that they're actually generating are less than our projections. And, the burden is on them to prove that. And, we've made it clear on here that if you don't have, scales, certified scales that weigh these things, then we're not gonna consider that evidence.
Well, and it's gonna have to be weighted also too, right?
Well, except we don't weigh the dumpsters, we don't weigh roll-offs. We weigh what Deffenbaugh brings us, but, they might dump 30 dumpsters into that one truck, and then they come out and weigh it. There's no way to weigh each one separately.
Right.
You have to.
The best way to go about it would be the invoice you pay for the size and the frequency. And if our size and frequency is way off from what you've been paying, and you could almost establish an arbitrary test if it's within if we're off 20%, then that's still within acceptable. I mean, if we're twice as much than what if our projection is twice as much of what your invoices say, then I suppose that can, at what point, how much off do we need to be in order to address, because if it's a difference of a cubic yard.
Well, I expect many users to say, we only fill our dumpster up once a year, so we want to have a big enough one that we want to trash it for letting them check that side. I think that's been calculated in because of mathematical computations that they use to convert dumpster size into pounds. But I expect you may have some people that are saying that we don't fill up our dumpster all the way. It's not completely full when we send it, but I think that's already been accounted for with the
Averaging it out.
Yeah.
And it will be the first year that we have to address people's trash pack. Obviously, the one argument, well, we don't generate nearly that much. Like if you've assigned 2 cubic yards, we never go full 2 cubic yards. It's within a range, and that's what you've been assessed based on what you use as a service for either Deffenbaugh or Martin's or Bays. And that's about as close as we can get as far as an individual rate, and as far as an individual measurement, that's as close as we can get. So unless somebody is underusing, and in which case they'll have to adjust for 2013 or going forward. If they don't use the dumpster that much, they can adjust their frequencies and that'll apply to next year. But for this year, unless we have a weight that's incorrect because their invoices represent something different, they're paying for a weight that either Deffenbaugh or Martin's has said that that's what that particular account or address uses, then we may have to do some adjustments in that respect. But
So back to the date, you said by resolution, December
18th.
they'd have to
File a notice that they agree.
so this entire plus all documentation.
At least the form. Probably not all the documentation, but at least the form.
just need to fill out the form, and then you can get the documentation later.
So your court systems, if you file an appeal, you have to file an appeal with supporting evidence,
No, you just give notice that you appeal,
and then you provide supporting documentation with
and
them.
then you give them a hearing date. Yeah.
Okay.
I think this is the court system. So, I mean, I just don't want it to get too convoluted or difficult. I mean, if we make it too complicated, the system, then it's gonna be frustrating for everybody involved. So how can we simplify it down, so?
You like to have a hearing officer and everything.
Well, you all are the,
Under the commission, okay. I'm not.
It'll still be here December 18th. So.
That's potentially, that's a lot of hearings. If you have everyone file a appeal form, they'll have to get a lot of time, and, you know, every business appeal, that's 480 appeal appointments.
Right, I wouldn't expect everybody's going to appeal.
No, but worst case scenario, if the county commission meetings become the solid waste appeal meetings for the next 6 months, that's gonna be laborious.
Well, but you can set, if we find that we have a bunch of them, you could set a day aside. We're going to start 8 o'clock in the morning, and we'll call you when yours is next.
Thank you guys, thank you. John, that's probably gonna be.
Yeah, well, let's wait and see what's, where we start.
You're making presumptions based on, yeah.
Huh?
So let's set dates, if we've got December 18th, that's the date that has to file an appeal by, then there has to be a date set that evidence has to be, I mean, we aren't gonna leave it wide open until July to present evidence, I mean, that's.
Well, I think we could set it then. I'm anticipating there will be an informal review, and the informal review, we'll find out what the dispute is, and if the dispute is just something they don't understand, we'll explain it. But if the dispute is something where they want to present some sort of evidence, then we'll set a date and do the evidence.
Well, say for instance, they refer to me and I explain, and they still, I mean, at that point you can say, okay, that makes sense, or that's reasonable. Or you'll have somebody, well, I want to appeal that, and then you can give them the form. But they have to go through, they have to come to somebody to review that information before they appeal it. That you just don't get your tax bill and then I want to appeal it without having seen the information. So I guess that's one way to simplify it, is in order to get an appeal form, you have to see the information that your solid waste fee is based off of. So.
Oh, the form's available from you after. The form's available for you after a lecture.
After what?
A lecture or an explanation.
I don't guess I haven't found it yet. I'll do it and see if there's their reservation to this process.
Yeah, I had not noticed that before today, and that may be kind of a perceivable gotcha in there for somebody who doesn't read that closely, just thinks it's in the taxes due. I don't know what the reason was for having the appeal.
Well, because we still have to redo our resolution to read as the $61 only,
We do,
so we can make an amendment then.
yeah, you could make it be the same day if you wanted to.
We have to do, we have to take the resolution,
We have to do
reflect the
it.
61,
Yeah,
even though it says maxed out to $72.
I think it's the better practice to do that.
To amend it.
Yes.
And so that December 20th becomes the appeals deadline, in addition to, because like it says, it says at the bottom, if your tax bill's late, so that actually works nicely. You don't get your appeal in before your deadline.
You might want to change the wording a little, because if the 20th falls on a weekday, then usually they have the next, what's the next
Thursday.
Monday or something.
The 20th is a Thursday this year.
Yeah, so I mean, for next,
I think you have to amend it yearly though.
so you have to minute your, okay.
Well, if you change the solid waste fee, you're gonna have to amend it, because that's only annually, so you're gonna have to amend it annually no matter what.
Okay.
In 2014, it's Saturday, the 20th of December.
Oh, yeah, right. But we have to amend it on an annual basis anyway, so,
The rate.
yeah. So if
If
we're
we
gonna,
change the rate.
yeah, if we're gonna amend it now, we also need to know that appeals process, evidence supporting, so we go to the end of February, they have to file the amendment to change the date, filing an appeal by the 20th, to coincide with first half taxes due. Two, you suggested not having supporting documentation the same day.
Well, that's a different question. I thought you were asking about a jurisdictional question of does their appeal count if they don't have that documentation there?
Yeah, and then, so like, what would be the recommended date?
Well, I think we'll wait to see what the reason is for the appeal before we.
I doubt that anybody, they will have no supporting documentation. We'll have to determine at that point what the basis of the appeal is, so that we can ask for whatever supporting documentation that's needed and how long it's gonna take to get that. So I understand what he's saying, they can appeal it, but it doesn't mean it's gonna be granted.
Sure.
You know, if we say, well, you've got the next 12 months to prove that, so that, then their actual hearing or action on it might come November, December of next year.
Yes.
That's what I understand, which still coincides with the residential, then they have, they've got to prove that all of them, basically, most of all, well, they can actually start to get.
Okay, let's
What is the resolution, whatever it is? The appeals date.
Yes.
Okay. So I would entertain a motion to amend resolution 2012-1354, solid waste fees, establishing solid waste fee at $61 base rate, and appeals date changed from December 18th to December 20th, 2012.
Did you say 51 now?
61.
61, okay.
What else? It's December 20th, this Thursday, is that, okay?
Yeah, that coincide with the first half tax due.
Right.
Yeah.
Also move.
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
So now that the deadline's set,
Was it 72 and 61?
61.
61.
Oh, it was 72.
Yeah, that's
Residential is,
From 72 to 61.
residential 61,
Well, it's just the base year.
right,
and the business is also 61 per unit.
yes.
Yeah, base rate.
So do we make changes on this?
On the form,
Do we need to be showing anything, or you highlighted other requirements?
those, the dates need to be,
That's what she was,
Mhm.
that's
when the appeal deadline is, and then, what they're required, what they have to provide. I guess the second thing would be, since we will have their contact information, contact them and let them know when their appeal date is. I'm assuming that's how we go. So,
Yeah, because the initial field date now is set at December 20th.
do something to explain that, the second page.
the third paragraph, we need to inject December 20th.
Maybe with the all property owners, yeah.
And now, are we putting a 60-day time frame on that, or is that?
I think, well, the deadline for appeals, December 2012, I'm assuming by the close of business on that day. Then the next sentence would probably be hearing dates will be determined thereafter.
So we're just gonna stick with, the appeal has to come in on that time. Right. By then, or?
Yes,
Okay.
just the form, and then when they take their form,
Well, that was what I was asking Pat about as far as the supporting documentation, who would have to supply it. I don't know if we need to set a date on when we need to have that evidence by, probably just be by contacting them on.
Well, I think as we look at each case, I think that's what you do. Because like I said, the appeal may be just,
Yeah, I think you want to wait and see what they're required to put in, from looking at the form, a statement of the basis for the appeal. I think it'll be able to tell from that whether you need document, what documents you need, whether you need evidence.
should you put on their detailed statement?
Some forms, they have a
Well,
couple
you-
lines for somebody to actually put in just the statement in there. So that'd probably be a better, just have it on the form, so you have to fill out reason.
Well, should you just attach another page?
Like, yeah,
Should
we
you
could,
attach another page in that way?
you have the statement with the form.
I mean, if it's just 1 or 2 lines, fine, but it may go in further, so.
Or you could just list 3 or 4 possible scenarios to circle, and then if there's something other, then they could just write out, or if you need additional explanation, put in a couple of lines.
Okay.
Just make it an easy form as well.
Maybe they'll just wait to see what we get in the next year, then we'll have an idea of what are the key areas, and then I think that's a good point, then, that you could have it a little simplified, where these are the 3 most logical things. So.
Yeah,
Vacancy, not incorrect information, or other being a couple lines, briefly explain why. That's actually pretty common in some of the other ones. So, if you wanna just put that in there for this go around, for the vacancy, or do we want the brief statement lines on the front page?
I just like to see what they all have to say for the first year, and then we'll see
Okay.
what the trend is gonna be. Because I mean, on residential, I mean, basically vacancy is the legitimate
Mhm.
fear,
Right.
and that's basically it, so. 12 months, basically.
So, I'll put the statement area in, I suppose then, once they're done to move the required supporting documentation to like another page, so as soon as they fill out their form, they get the back page that states what they still have to come up with, and then you have the front form, which will be contact information, parcel information, brief summary, or brief statement, and that'd be about it. You get it signed by somebody, either by the clerk's treasurer or somebody, so they can have it before the deadline. Okay.
Stamping out one receipt is also a good idea, too.
Yeah, we'll see. I have a couple of things.
Are we done with this?
I think so.
Yeah.
I talked with, Chad Beckley, who of course runs the ambulance service for the hospital. He has no objection to us taking one of those units out of service immediately. He did have a concern with taking 2 of them out, so, we are going to use the backup vehicle that we routinely provide, to them. I relayed that to Wes, and then also to Brent Peter of X Inc. Brent is still working on getting 200 bids for it. He did tell me that he's had success getting the company that he had one proposal for, not to bid until January. And that's, I don't think it's going to be a major